Welcome to turn 13. Will it be lucky or unlucky for me, or just another turn? Let's find out as we go to the replay. It continues to attack at Water's Bend. Okay, right. Now you can see how I'm being ground down. Draka does not have the forces to be able to withstand so many enemies. And it's really just a matter of time as to how long he can hold out before Angnord will take over that area. Okay, so we have an attack coming into Jotunheim from two different directions now. From the south, Moradon is making an attack, and it looks like Malkarn is also preparing to make an attack. Alright, so I lost my Vikings, I lost one of my my infantry, and we have continued to cost gold pieces to the allies, and we've lost River Mist. Okay, here is a warning to the Golden Khanate that if our army gets too big, it's going to start costing us more to keep them in the field. Without reading all of that, it basically means that if you've got up to 10 infantry, cavalry and elite units in the field, you're okay. Over 10, it will cost you an extra 200 gold pieces per turn, and if you get up to 20, which I've never actually done, but if you did, it would cost you an additional 200 gold pieces, so 400 in total per turn. So the best thing to do is to make sure that you don't get that many units. Keep your units to the 10 maximum. If you need to, or if you want to, you can go over that, but you're just going to pay a price for it. And vary the units that you actually buy, because infantry, cavalry, that should say really veterans, cavalry and elite are the mainstay of the army, but you can also use other units to flesh out your force, which makes sense. So anyway, that's a warning for us, and each of the main countries, Andania and Potentia, will get the same warning at different places. I've got to the point where I've got 8 units, and that's why this warning has come up for the Golden Khanate. So let's check that if we count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units. That's the reason for the warning. Alright, anyway, I'm going to do it in order. We'll go back up here to Jotunheim. I am a little bit concerned about this attack, because they can take this this fort here, Fort Wretched, and then they'll have full access to get into Jotunheim itself. It's not an easy path, but it's something that I need to be on my guard against. So I'm really in this situation where I probably need to withdraw some of my forces, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take a risk and reinforce these units here. I will send the big wings back, and also the air fighters as well, so that they can prepare in case Malkarn needs to or wants to, but worth checking against. So I'm just going to set up a bit of a defensive perimeter around Guatan Peak, the capital there, and let's have a look at the diplomacy situation, because I really want to make sure that Transmoradonia will come on side as soon as possible. It's moving, it's at 60%, but really if we get 1 or 2 movements soon, it will be very, very useful. Alright, how's Draka going? Well, not so great. He is not on the verge of collapse at this stage, so that's a good thing. I'm just moving in my veteran unit into Morbright to get a bit of entrenchment, and hopefully that will hold him in good stead a bit later on. Now this elite unit here is of course my target. And so far, oh look, it's in danger here of losing to all air attacks. So even though they only had 1 point, they did 3 points of damage to my elite unit. That is annoying, but not to be not completely unexpected. And I'll move Draka back out of danger. Same with this leader here. I'll leave the elite unit in Water's Bend to hold it as long as possible. Alright, that's it for them, and I don't need to actually spend any gold pieces for them. Mittelheim, well, as I said, I was only going to move them down there to threaten an attack, and at this stage I have no intention of attacking. They are far too weak for that, but I will have a look at the diplomacy and see that Norddelm is up to 78. So what's that? 12%. It will move them into the preparing for war, so it doesn't need much movement there. These guys in Andania are continuing to prepare for an eventuality that may or may not come about. But you need to be prepared for these things. And I'll send this ship to support these this fleet that's forming, I should say, in this region. And I'm going to get a little bit cheeky and move up here just to see if there's anything to be afraid of, and there isn't. So I'll just move the fleet a little bit. In some ways I actually want him to come out to attack me, because my ships are not too bad. These warships and galleon are the best at this stage on the sea, but that doesn't mean they can't be sunk. In fact, they can be sunk very handily. Potentia 267. Now let's have a look at their research at the moment. They've got the main things being researched, but not much information, so I'm going to put a chit into that because they really will need that at some point. And there's one other that I have to remind myself to get next time, is invasion, because once they have built up their forces, at some stage they are going to want to project their power overseas, and they won't be able to do that very successfully without invasion. And their diplomacy situation, they've got 2 chits, Nova Spes, I will put one in them, and that only leaves me 12, so next turn to put another diplomacy chit somewhere. And finally the Golden Khanate has 326. 326 is a good number to increase the cavalry, but I want to check to see how many I'm going to have. So I've got 8 on the board at the moment, on the map, and none coming, so I can afford to put 1 or 2 more onto the map. Now let's have a look. There's a whole heap of different names that I can go with here. Doesn't really matter, they're all the same in terms of what they can actually do, so I'm going to go with the Nomad Dragoons. Why not? And continue to move into position. I will upgrade that one or reinforce that one. Continuing to move up the interior and put a garrison in Amarsen. 51 gold pieces left over. Let's have a look at the diplomacy. See, this is unusual. Imhotep it's moving, but it hasn't moved very much in quite some time. It can happen. It gets frustrating, but that's the way it goes. Alright, that's it for this turn. Let's see if there's anything that we need to do. There's the fortress complete that the sappers were making for Draka. Now in this area here, the son and daughter dragons of the great dragon Imrith attack allied units in the area, so that's why they took 2 points damage. Nova Spes moved 12%, Imhotep, there you go, has moved 10%. I think that takes them up to 80, which is getting closer to the 90 that we need, of course. And espionage for the Andanians has gone up to 74%. Excellent. That will increase the rate of them finding new technologies, hopefully. And ranged weapons. This is something that is automatically embedded into infantry units to give them extra attacking and defending power against light and medium armor. So that's the ranged weapons. The balance sheet is looking okay. The trade routes are producing quite well. All right, that's turn 13. Thank you for watching. See you next time.